Lights, camera, controversy. Oscar season is here, but not without a scandal. This year, Andrea Riseborough's nomination for Actress in a Leading Role has the film industry in an uproar. It sparked a firestorm with questions being raised about the integrity of the awards and the influence of money in the process. From a rare show of celebrity support to the millions of dollars spent on Oscar campaigns, to overlooked actors like Viola Davis and Danielle Deadwyler who seemingly were shoo-ins for this category, it's time to have a real conversation about awards in the film industry. Join me as we unravel the truth about Andrea's small but mighty Oscar campaign, the outcome of the Academy's investigation into her nomination, and what we should really be upset about. Girl, this is so dramatic. I love it. Aloha and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jake and I'm an artist who talks all things movies and TV. In today's video, we're talking the shocking nomination of Andrea Riseborough. I'm going to catch you up on the situation, cover how this grassroots Oscar campaign unfolded, and why this is such a big deal. Before we get into it, I want to say that I don't think Andrea did anything wrong. She gave a fantastic performance and asked her friends to spread the word. Calls were made and screeners were passed around. Showings were showed and the popcorn was popped. And somehow the word got to the voters and the voters voted.
Andrea Riseborough into Leslie.
Her friends might have been a little powerful. I don't really see the problem with it, but we're going to get into that. I also want to preface the video with this. This conversation is complicated and it tackles several complex issues. Race, politics, and money, three of the biggest problems in this country. So while I won't be able to cover everything, please feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments and continue the conversation. Respectfully, please. Thank you. After the Oscar nominations were announced, Andrea spoke with Deadline about how shocked she was to hear her name called. "I'm astounded," she said. "Even though we had a lot of support, the idea it might actually happen seems so far away. I'm not entirely sure how the fuck this happened." That day, social media blew up on both sides. One in support of her and the other pissed because they didn't see their favorites in the nomination lineup. But this happens every year. There's always going to be snubs. There's only so many spots. But this felt like a truly shocking nomination. I mean, the bitch herself didn't even think she was going to hear her name called. So she really said, how the fuck did this happen? I don't know. In the days following, it was announced that the Academy would be launching an internal investigation into her nomination. And I'm speculating here, but it was probably because of all the backlash they received. So a couple of possibilities being floated around were to have Andrea's nomination rescinded and or changing the campaign rules. The To Leslie Instagram account fucked up a little bit when they posted a New York Times review mentioning a fellow nominee, Cate Blanchett. While the quote was from a critic and not Riseborough herself, this comes close to violating one of the Academy's campaign rules. Specifically, number 11, oh yes bitch, I got receipts, references to other nominees. Part B reads, "Any tactic that singles out the competition by name or titles is expressly forbidden." Even if they rescinded her nomination, which is the most extreme outcome of them all, her spot in the category wouldn't be replaced, so it would just go from 5 nominees to 4. Plus, in the history of the Oscars, only 9 nominations have been rescinded. On January 31st, the Oscars shared a statement from CEO Bill Kramer. Based on concerns that surfaced last week around the To Leslie Awards campaign, the Academy began a review into the film's campaigning tactics. The Academy has determined the activity in question does not rise to the level that the film's nomination should be rescinded. However, we did discover social media and outreach campaigning tactics that cause concern. These tactics are being addressed with the responsible parties directly. In addition to the statement, he also sent out a letter directly to the Academy members, which said, in part, "We want our members to cast their Oscar votes based solely on the artistic and technical merits of the eligible films and achievements. The integrity of our esteemed institution depends on it. As we head into finals voting, please make sure that you are upholding the Academy's standards of conduct and current awards rules and campaign regulations. Please refrain from publicly discussing your voting preferences or attempting to persuade others to vote similarly." So basically, just like a jury situation, you can't talk about the case with the other jurors, which I highly doubt every single member is going to follow. It's just not going to happen. This brings up the tightrope walk of integrity when it comes to the members and their judging criteria. What are Academy members truly taking into consideration? But this also speaks to a bigger problem when it comes to awards in Hollywood. Christina Ricci commented on a Variety Instagram post, and she sums it up quite nicely. Seems hilarious that the surprise nomination, meaning tons of money wasn't spent to position this actress, of a legitimately brilliant performance is being met with an investigation. So it's only the films and actors that can afford the campaigns that deserve recognition? Feels elitist and exclusive and frankly very backward to me. Okay, Wednesday Queen, preach. I mean, she's got a point. As Dalton said in his video analyzing every Best Picture winner, the Oscars aren't necessarily about the best performance of the year. They act as a time capsule. They recognize what that body of voters thought was the best in that time period. Times change and tastes change. All winners, past, present, and future, all reflect the time. It's not always the best, but it's what people thought was the best. A little existential, but you know what I mean, right? Go watch Dalton's video to get a better grasp of what I'm trying to get at. Now let's talk about her campaign and how we got here. A few weeks ago, several celebrities posted on social media about her brilliant performance in To Leslie, a movie that honestly not a lot of people have seen. And I'm not talking celebrities. I'm talking celebrities. Celebrities with huge followings like Jennifer Aniston, Kate Winslet, and Charlize Theron. Okay? These actors probably posted not thinking that she'd actually get nominated because we're far into the awards season and she hasn't gotten a lot of recognition. But they didn't consider one thing, how much pull they actually have and where it counts in the Academy. If anything, these celebrities brought more attention to her performance. They're not going to endorse something mediocre and call it a day. Celebrities don't usually turn out like they did for Andrea, but this isn't the first time an actor has publicly attempted an Oscars push on their own. In 2011, Melissa Leo pushed for a nomination in the supporting role category for her performance in The Fighter, which was a smaller film and didn't have the budget to compete with others like True Grit and The King's Speech. Also, sickening that Haley Steinfeld was nominated this year as a child. Iconic. Now, Miss Melissa, she did her own photo shoot and everything. She even paid for her own For Your Consideration ads. Queen shit. And what happened? It worked. Melissa was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. This wasn't for Market Merchant number 4 in a university short film called Murder in the Square. No. This was another instance where the performance matched the honor of the nomination. And I'm sure bitches were upset then too. Who the fuck is Melissa Leo? What the fuck is this movie The Fighter? How's she dominated next to us? Have a seat, because you're about to get even more upset. There's an intense level of self-promotion that an actor would have to do if they weren't backed by a major studio. Melissa told the New York Times in 2011, quote, "This entire awards process to some degree is about pimping yourself out." Not this white woman saying pimping yourself out. Oh, Lord. It's all right, Melissa. It's all right. I love the low budget moment that Melissa's serving here because she sat back and she said, bitch, I'm just going to put it out there and see what happens. And you want to know what happened? You're not ready. Roll the clip.
And the Oscar for supporting actress goes to Melissa Leo, The Fighter.
Talk about a fighter. I'd say those ad dollars paid off. Every cent. Some of the anger people have shown over the past couple weeks was completely misdirected. It shouldn't be towards Andrea or even the way that her grassroots campaign played out. What's both confusing and hilarious is this. Movie studios spend millions of dollars marketing the film to get butts in the seats. And then they go on and spend millions of dollars more campaigning for awards. But what is movie marketing? Bringing awareness to a movie to get people to go and see it. If the marketing worked the first time, there would be no FYC campaigns. People would have gone to see the movie, started talking, and give it the attention it deserves. So when come time to vote on nominations, they'd already know who to vote for. But instead, we got a bunch of bougie bitches out here, schmoozing and snoozing and zhuzhing and pushing. But part of me also gets it. If your movie premiered in the spring and voting for nominations happens in the winter, you gotta bring that film back into the collective consciousness. I gotta say, there is one in all of this that is benefiting more than everybody else. The Oscars. It's Great PR for them, and it's free. Even though they're the most watched awards show of the entire year, their viewership has suffered over the past 5 years as people turn away from traditional programming and lean into streaming. This year, they aired their nominations on Disney+, which I think was a really smart move. Last year, Coda won Best Picture, which was an indie movie that premiered on Apple TV+, signaling the official entrance into the streaming era and the continued recognition of smaller films. The turning of the tide for the latter of the two happened back in 2017, when shockingly, Moonlight, a Black-led, intensely emotional film about sexuality and identity, won Best Picture over the big-budget, dazzling, musical, glamorized picture of Hollywood, La La Land.
Come on. La La Land.
Guys, I'm sorry. No, there's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Moonlight won. Come on, this is not a joke.
Moonlight, Best Picture.
Thank you.
Very clearly, even in my dreams, this could not be true.
One had a budget of $4 million, while the other, $30 million. Both are stunning pieces of art and brilliance in their own right. But this officially signaled the death of the quote-unquote traditional Best Picture winners, thus making room to appreciate smaller films and what they bring to the table. Andrea has been overlooked for so long. She's got more talent in her pinky finger than some of the leading stars carrying these trashy movies that I'm surprised were greenlit in the first place. I'm not saying every movie needs to be a cinematic masterpiece, but tens of millions of dollars shouldn't be wasted to take a cast on a vacation that they could afford anyway. I can only imagine what all this buzz has done for the movie to Leslie and everyone involved. It's a movie that grossed maybe $27,000 in the box office, and now it's en route to make a lot more. Those who are still mad at her nomination are forgetting one thing. All of this attention has only increased her chances of winning. Yep. How ironic would it be if she actually won this category? Oh wait, somebody has done that before.
How does it feel to win such a life-changing sum of money?
Oh, well, I feel a hell of a lot better than yesterday.
Uh-oh, Michelle Yeoh, you better watch your back. Like I've said before, I need this award to go to Michelle Yeoh. So I don't want to speak anything into existence, but as we saw in the case of Melissa Leo, anything's possible. And I don't know what Andrea is feeling. She's got all these people talking about her in questionable ways. There's a lot of positivity, but there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of things. But it isn't like this is her first day on the job. You can't even come for her performance because it's that good. She deserves the nomination just as much as everybody else in this category. Oh, hold on. I'm getting a call, girl. Hello. Yep. Yes, bitch. How are you? Yeah, I saw it. Snubbed, I know, I'm so sorry. Yeah, they really had your ass out there in the hot sun. She can ask at 56, honey. Yeah, it's just fucking crazy. Just, oh, Danielle's here too? Hey, girl. How's your back feeling after carrying that boofy? Talk to Viola because she's got a good chiropractor she met on the set of The Woman King. I gotta go, girl. Okay, petty appointment is set. All right, I'll see you then. Okay, girls, bye. I'm so sorry, just a couple of my girlfriends, we just gotta laugh to keep from crying at this point. The biggest upset this year was finding out that neither Viola Davis nor Danielle Deadwyler were nominated for actress in a leading role. In fact, their movies weren't nominated at all, which is surprising considering that both actresses were tapped as shoo-ins this entire award season. Viola Davis portrayed a general of an all-female warrior crew who protected their king and his kingdom. This movie has intense fight scenes, intimate moments of vulnerability, and a story that keeps you invested the entire time. It's loosely based on true events, and despite some idiots criticizing it for going woke, it got good reviews. It was a very different role for her, and I love seeing actors push themselves out of their comfortable little character box. This woman stays working. I wonder why. Probably because she's one of the best actresses out there. Danielle Deadwyler portrayed Mamie Till Mobley, the mother of the brutally murdered teenager Emmett Till, which made headlines in the 1950s and started a national conversation about race. It brought the effects of racism into everyone's home. It was a reality that people could no longer ignore. Danielle had a ton of pressure on her shoulders, portraying a historic figure that would almost certainly require her to go through her own personal catharsis. And what she ended up giving us was exquisite. These were two powerful Black performances executed beautifully. So it would be hard to argue that there isn't an element of this conversation that doesn't include race. There's an element of privilege at play here. In fact, all of the celebrities who endorsed Andrea's performance were white. Now, I'm not saying there's something there, but maybe there's something there. And I'm definitely not the person equipped enough to have that conversation, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. The Academy, they love drama. They rarely ever recognize a performance for comedy brilliance. They love tears, they love anger, they love pain. So if they can't recognize one of the most dramatic performances of the year, what can they recognize? Although I will give them this, they honored Jamie Lee Curtis for her wacky-ass, dry-humored approach to an IRS agent. I talked about this briefly in my nominations video, but I don't think Anna or Jamie should have been nominated this year. Anna was nommed for leading and Jamie for supporting. It's very clear that the Academy and most of the general public did not like Blonde, but they did like Anna's performance. Jamie played an eccentric auditor who leapt down some stairs and got stapled in the head. Neither of these performances, I thought, would end up being nominated for two of the biggest awards there is, especially when you look at last year's material. It was announced in September that Michelle Williams would be going for leading role instead of supporting role for The Fabelmans. She was great in the movie, but I definitely could have seen her in the supporting category. I can also acknowledge that there will be snubs every year. Not everyone can win, I get it. But what is the judging criteria that the Academy members are following? After all, actors are the ones who did this, because the acting branch votes for the acting categories. They voted and decided that Andrea's performance was good enough to be nominated for Best Leading Actress. One person's best is totally different from another's. This is how I would have liked to see it go down. None of us have power over these things. You can sit there and complain, girl, it's gonna go straight into the abyss. The only people that do have power are those in the Academy. You can also sit there all day and rant about how the Oscars no longer matter. But the reality is, they do. They matter where it counts, and that's the box office. And the green lighting of future pictures. We gotta get back to the point. Why the Oscars exist in the first place. To celebrate movies. At the end of the day, awards are arbitrary. Best, the highest possible state of excellence, is subjective. One person can think something's the best while another thinks it's trash. That's why watching somebody win is so special and so emotional. Because a group of people came together and agreed on one thing, which is rare these days, that this performance deserves to be awarded. Despite what some may say, the Oscars have shown that they are changing. They're making an effort to put a spotlight on smaller films. And they acted pretty quickly after the nomination scandal. And I'm glad they decided not to rescind her nomination and to address the problematic parties in private. I think nowadays, when everything is online, that's the best way to go. Nobody broke any rules, nobody broke any laws. She got nominated fair and square. Just because a studio throws a ton of money at a campaign doesn't mean it's a guaranteed win anymore. Sometimes the movies and performances at the bottom of the bin, the overlooked, the unseen, are the ones with the greatest impact. The Andrea Riseborough situation has sparked a lot of conversation in the film industry. While she did nothing wrong but give a fantastic performance, the real issue at hand is the millions of dollars spent on Oscar campaigns, the integrity of the Academy, and the consistently overlooked talent of actors like Viola and Danielle. In case you missed it, go check out my video breaking down this year's nominations. And make sure to go see To Leslie, The Woman King, and Till. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Jake, and may the power protect you always. See you next time. Bye.